I'm Wayne Mrnak from Bowman, North Dakota. We live about 5 miles south of Bowman. Our ranch was homesteaded in 1906 by my great-grandfather, and been nothing but Mrnaks on this ranch ever since, I guess. So that's kind of the history. We started in the purebred Hereford business in 1945. My dad bought his first registered cows, and we're still in the purebred Hereford business today. Biggest thing I think we see with using RioMax at this time is it has upped our conception rate, tightened our calving interval considerable to what we were doing. We've really tightened up our calving season, getting more calves in the first heat cycle than we've seen in a long time. We didn't feed as much hay this winter because we didn't have the hay to feed. Looking out here today, it's a whole different world than it was a year ago, and we're gonna have some feed and some forage for the cattle this year for sure. But it's tough to judge that for me. You know, like I said, we trimmed them back to probably feed about 2/3 of normal, probably all winter to what we normally did. And the cows got through the winter considerably well. The calves this spring were super vigorous when they came and up and going, and the health seemed to be excellent on them this spring. And our breeding season was longer than we cared. I think that's the biggest thing we've noticed right off. We've been on RioMax, probably this is the third season that we've used straight RioMax. We feed it the year round. That was the first thing that we've tried to really get that back in shape, and it seems to be working extremely well. You've got to think a little different on that line, because it is sticker shock. There's no doubt about it in my mind. But when you sit down and put a pencil to it with the consumption and the guarantees and stuff like that, guaranteed consumption, it's not any more expensive than anything else we've ever did. And we've always did 100% when we move in any direction, because we're not an experiment station. You know, that's for college people and experiment stations to come up with the data. You know, and it's hard. It makes it difficult too if you split your herd and to track all that stuff every day. We'd rather let the experiment people the scientists take care of that, and I think that's the way I can't say everybody in this area is that way, but that's where we operate, because it's just too difficult to try and 3-4 different products and figure out where you're at when the day's over. Oh, I think so. I think there's no doubt that it pays for itself. It just, in additional calves, additional weight in the fall. We run a little different program because we sell all 2-year-old bulls. So, we need a big weaning weight. We need some weight, but we don't have to stress these cows and push them for every pound to wean 800-900 pound calves in the fall of the year. That's not our objective at all, selling 2-year-old bulls. Yeah, they've stayed real consistent. We had a little trouble when we first started. Twain knows that extremely well, that our consumption was higher than it should have been, I thought, and so they helped us through that. But now that the cows have been on it consistently, we don't see much change. They got a little more aggressive towards them when the grass first started greening up, but and we started feeding them less. But that's the only time I ever really noticed any increase, and that lasted probably a week, and then they went back to normal consumption, and they stay real steady the year round.